Let's all have a minute this morning, I've just finished the gym, to laugh at Mohammed Hijab. He's tried to model himself on some big jihadi warrior, yeah? He's become a fucking cartoon character. He run into solicitors and that. Tried to sue Douglas Murray, got laughed out of court. Sent me legal letters from some Muslim law firm, fuck you, yeah? Because I called him a caveman. Man wants to fight a holy war with lawyers. You fucking sausage mo. You've become a joke, an absolute joke. Go get your lawyers, you big mug.
Tommy Robinson doesn't merely mock Mohammed Hijab, he dismantles him, piece by piece, publicly, unapologetically, and with the kind of blunt force that leaves no room for ambiguity. This isn't satire. It's targeted humiliation. According to Tommy, Hijab is desperately trying to fashion himself as some modern-day jihadi commander, a towering symbol of religious defiance and masculine dominance. But what Tommy sees, and what he forces the audience to see, is something entirely different. A walking cartoon, a parody of himself, a man so inflated with self-importance that he doesn't realize he's become a meme. Robinson doesn't just go for the surface level mockery, he goes for the credibility kill shot. He gleefully recounts how Hijab attempted to sue Douglas Murray, a move that backfired so hard the only lasting impression was Hijab being laughed out of court. It wasn't just a legal loss, it was a collapse of stature. The man who positions himself as a fearless defender of the faith was reduced to a punchline in a courtroom, a place where his rhetorical intimidation held zero weight. To Tommy, this wasn't a setback. It was confirmation that Hijab is nothing more than theater without power. And then came the legal threat aimed directly at Tommy himself, a warning letter from a so-called Muslim law firm, outraged that Robinson had dared to call Hijab a caveman. Tommy's response was immediate and vulgar. Fuck you. But beyond the profanity was a message. You don't get to act like a religious warrior and hide behind legal paperwork when someone talks back. To Tommy, it was laughable. The idea of a holy warrior launching jihad by lawsuit. He ridicules it ruthlessly, painting Hijab as a man trying to wage holy war through solicitors. That's not just satire. That's emasculation, public and complete. In one of the most cutting lines of the rant, Robinson doesn't hold back. He calls Hijab a fucking sausage moe, juvenile, maybe, effective, absolutely. It's ridicule aimed directly at Hijab's self-image. A complete dismantling of the mystique he spent years trying to build, and when Tommy caps it off with "You've become a joke, go get your lawyers, you big mug," it's not just a sign off. It's the final nail in the coffin. The image of strength, of religious firepower, of ideological dominance. All of it gone in a few brutal sentences. What's left is a man mocked not just by opponents, but by the very public he once tried to intimidate. To Robinson, Hijab is not a threat. He's not dangerous. He's not untouchable. He's a clown, a man hiding behind the facade of intellectualism and religion, but folding like paper the moment he's pushed. And Tommy wants the world to see it. In fact, he dares them to look. Because in his eyes, exposing the absurdity of men like Hijab isn't just entertaining. It's necessary, especially when those men pretend to speak for millions, demand silence through intimidation, and collapse under the weight of their own hypocrisy. This isn't just beef. It's a public execution of credibility, masculinity, and myth. And Robinson, with a grin on his face and zero fear of consequence, is holding the mic.
Do you remember Storm Floris?
Well, today,
50-mile-an-hour winds.
when we do get winds up here, they're very strong.
You only come out if you need to. Stay at home, stay safe.
Oh yeah, it was windy. Supposedly 100-mile-an-hour winds, trains were cancelled, flights were delayed. I think in Nuneaton, a wheelie bin blew over. But surely this was good news for this guy.
Darling, hold my hand.
Nothing beats it.
This is my idea of a holiday. I'm here at the site of the Rampion 2 wind farm. 1 million homes powered. 4,000 jobs during construction.
Energy security. Good job tackling the climate crisis.
Could we just leave him out there? Anyway, Ed Miliband loves wind. He loves a wind turbine. Of course, President Trump doesn't.
The other thing I say to Europe, we will not allow a windmill to be built in the United States. They're killing us. They're killing the beauty of our scenery, our valleys, our beautiful plains. And I'm not talking about airplanes. I'm talking about beautiful plains, beautiful areas in the United States. And you look up and you see windmills all over the place. It's a horrible thing. It's the most expensive form of energy. It's no good. They're made in China, almost all of them.
But Ed Miliband loves wind turbines so much he wants to put them in your back garden. He wants to put them all over the Pennines, which The Guardian got upset about because, of course, it's Bronte country. No, we can't destroy Bronte country, say the same Guardianistas that probably have no qualms about there being a giant £2 million mega mosque built in rural Cumbria. But anyway, Ed Miliband even wants to put wind turbines as tall as the Eiffel Tower in the English Channel. Yeah, that's right. The only way I'd be in favour of that is if it acted as a wall to stop the illegal invasion of Britain. But Ed Miliband looks at wind turbines in the way that most blokes look at attractive women. He looks at wind turbines in the way that an obese person looks at a Greg's steak bake. He looks at wind turbines in the way that Bob Marley looked at cannabis. He loves them so much that in his spare time, he likes to take his little ukulele out and sing to them.
The answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind. The answer is blowing in the wind.
So, for failed Labour leader and notorious brother shafter, a reference to when he knifed him in the back all those years ago, not anything else, Ed Miliband, storm florist must have been all his birthdays rolled into one. Wrong. It was too windy for the wind turbines. We had to turn them off, and it cost you, the British taxpayer, 33 million quid. We had to turn them off because they would have overwhelmed the grid and all the lights would have gone out. In fact, wasted wind power has cost Britain an estimated 752 million quid so far this year, equivalent to more than £140,000 an hour. The cost has risen from a meagre 456 million over the same period in 2024. That cost, by the way, is expected to be billions of pounds over the next few years. But Ed doesn't care about your money, does he? He's personally absolutely minted as far as I'm aware. He seems happy to waste your cash on his big green ego trip. Talking of trips, one of his advisors racked up 40,000 air miles last year, and he himself, there you go, look at that. Ed Miliband, he's sent someone on a 46-hour trip to Brazil just to check a luxury hotel out for him for a climate conference. And then if you look at what he's done himself, he personally has a carbon footprint 12 times higher than the average Brit. Look, I mean, honestly, Ed Miliband can get his little ukulele out and strum it in front of as many wind turbines as he likes. But the fact is, when it gets too windy, we have to turn them off, and we have to rely on oil and gas.